Hey, everybody, welcome back to day three. We are aligning and operating the cognitive, emotional, physical aspects of the self, or you can think of it as becoming the embodiment of that new you, that new identity that we began to open up to back in day one a couple of days ago. And I'm super excited for my next guest, dear sister. We met in Tulum a couple of years ago. Nikita Gohil. She's an intuitive life guide and a powerhouse entrepreneur. And she's going to be talking about empowering your path and unveiling your truth. So, welcome, Nikita. How are you?
Really good, thank you.
Thanks for being here. So, I would love for you just to um, just to dive in. How do we actually empower our path to unveil our truth? What does that look like?
Well, we're making changes in our life that is more in alignment with our soul. And so it's really about tuning into yourself and finding what resonates most with what you feel comfortable about, what you love, what you want to embody, what you want to introduce into your life. And so what we do is you could do simple things like meditations where you're tuning into yourself and you don't have any distractions. But sometimes it's hard for people to meditate. And if you're trying to get to know yourself, I would firstly recommend meditation, but it's also good to create a sacred space for yourself to try and learn more about who you are. And it could be simple things like taking a few minutes out of your day and connecting with yourself. I personally love to have like a sacred space that I've made for myself. And it's there's one in the bedroom and there's one in the living room. And I have collected things that are sentimental, things that really mean something to me or something that I want to achieve. And so I have photos of things that are meaningful to me, things that I've collected from my past that have brought up feelings of love and joy and bliss. Like I might have been on holiday somewhere and collected a few shells. There might be some deities that I really connect to. And so I have these in this sacred space area that I've made with different with a beautiful cloth or some things that I've decorated, maybe flowers. And then I visit this space whenever I want to connect with myself. And the best time to do it is in the morning. So what I like to do, instead of reaching out for my phone in the morning, I visit my sacred space and I put my playlist on of music is really grounding and amazing frequencies. And I also make myself a cup of cacao or some herbal tea. And I sit there and really don't have any distractions at all around me, but I sit there, I set my intention for the day. I might have a meeting that I'm dreading or something that I'm going to be doing that I now can visualize myself really how I'm going to be in that meeting and how it's going to go well, and that I'm going to be happy and the other person's going to be happy, and just setting those intentions for the day and having so much gratitude for every part. And there might be certain things you look out the window and you see that the sun is shining, and you're so grateful for the weather. You're so grateful for your family. You're so grateful for the people that are going to come your way. And really, by waking up and having these feelings and connecting with yourself, you're suddenly setting your tone for the day. And if you reach out for that phone and you're having your coffee and you're scrolling your phone in the morning, what kind of feelings are they going to bring up for you to set your day to? So I always try and incorporate little rituals for myself. And you can go and visit that in the evening or in the day or whenever it feels comfortable, but it's actually setting the tone. So I think that's one of the most important things to do before you change what you're doing in your life.
So, were you now? We mentioned entrepreneur, powerhouse entrepreneur, in when I introduced you, and um, so I imagine that you didn't always do this, or did you?
No, I didn't. No, I was as a workaholic, I didn't tune in with myself at all. I mean, I was a very different person. I didn't have time to socialize. I didn't have time to be present with people. I didn't have time to eat healthily. And so, yeah, it was a very different life.
And so how is this, for those that are just, beginning to move through this process, right? And they're maybe they've started to incorporate some of the discipline practices and that sort of thing. But how has this changed your life? Like even from day to day? And what can people expect when they actually start their days like this?
Well, it's changed my life because I I brought in all the things that are really important to me, and I have a more balanced life. I have equal enjoyment in doing other things, meeting family, going out on social occasions, eating healthily, and I sorry, I forgot your question, Lee.
So for those that are just kind of moving into this and haven't set up all of their practices yet and their sacred space and that sort of thing, can you just share how it's shifted your life, even from day to day, from before you did it, and then what people can actually expect when they implement it into their own practice?
Okay, so yeah, I've basically from being a workaholic, I now am able to have a more balanced life, and I'm able to be present and enjoy everything that I do, which is more congruent with me. And it really comes down to changing what I'm surrounded by. Because when I was a workaholic, I was constantly on the phone in the business world, surrounded by business people, constantly on my laptop, mostly indoors. And I took the step to change my environment and decide that what are the most important things to me. By tuning into myself, I was able to establish that okay, I these are the things that I enjoy doing, these are my hobbies, these are the things that I want to introduce into my life. As a workaholic, I was eating really unhealthily. I was always on the go, so I was just grabbing takeouts and eating at restaurants and just stopping off wherever I could. But eating healthy was important. Being fit, exercising, and um, being more in tune with myself, being more present. So what I decided to do, I'll give you an example of something that I did recently, which might help people understand the changes I made. But one of the things was that I really decided I wanted to live in a hot country. I really do not like being cold at all. And now community and being with like-minded people are really important. And being in Europe was also important. And I discovered that really, I think I'll go and move to Cyprus. It's got beautiful weather, it's the Mediterranean, and I don't know anyone there, but I'm gonna now change my environment and try and make everything work. So one day, I went to Cyprus. I didn't know anyone. And what is the best way of connecting with people when I'm there? Well, I went to a yoga studio. I looked at the notice board. I found out all the events and things that were going on. Now, I loved yoga. I really enjoy dancing and I enjoy anything to do with the environment. And I also enjoy reading and cooking and all these things. So I knew roughly what I enjoyed doing. And so I went and chatted to people at healthy restaurants, in yoga places. And I found that there was a dance festival going on, an ecstatic dance festival in Cyprus for a whole week. So I booked onto that. I met the most amazing people at that event and we've become lifelong friends. And then I just went and had a massage one day, and this lady told me about an eco retreat resort. And I messaged them and said, I'd love to come and visit. It's something that I'm really passionate about. So I went to go and see their site. It was very inspiring. I'm also in the property business, so I thought this is really interesting concept, and it's so inspiring for me to create something different of my own. And then I met somebody there who then led me on to visit all the sacred sites of Cyprus. And I also went to the Mind, Body, and Spirit Festival where I met amazing people. And I met the owner, and she said she has an Airbnb. And I rented her Airbnb, and she happened to have a dance studio attached to the Airbnb. And she said to me, here's the key, use the dance studio whenever you want. And I had this whole place to myself. So the point that I'm trying to make is that you might have a very loose idea of how you want to live your life, but there's certain baby steps, action that you can take. For example, joining those groups, going to a yoga class and checking out the notice board, pushing just a little bit. Oh, I'm going to go and see this eco retreat. I'm going to go to this Mind, Body, Spirit Festival. And just by making those little steps, suddenly the universe fed back to me what made all the rest of the steps for me and said, okay, we're going to show you this. We're going to introduce you to this woman. You're going to be at a dance festival. I didn't have to make much effort because suddenly all these synchronicities started to happen.
So that was essentially as a result of you setting up your morning practice?
Yes, because I was able to tune in and really visualize how I wanted to live my life. And I mean, that's, doing it over a long time, because it's fine for your aspirations and for your hobbies and for the things that you love and enjoy. It's fine for those things to change, so it's really important to tune in with yourself all the time, every day, daily, to see what really feels good and to understand your energy, because you can feel, you've got to know what feels good to you and what doesn't feel good to you. And you've got to know your boundaries. Like, okay, I enjoy doing this, but this would take me out my comfort zone and I'm not happy with that. And once you've established your boundaries, then you're able to like extend yourself out there and do different things and know what you're going to love and enjoy and be passionate
Mm. So, like you mentioned, your just briefly the business that you were in. I guess you're still in it, but you've kind of made this transition, right? And I imagine that the 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 amount of and the type of success that you had with your property business was maybe, I don't want to phrase this. What made you want to make that shift? Because I again, I'm imagining that there are so many people that have achieved a certain amount of success in maybe a certain area or a couple areas or business in their lives, and then so how would one know that maybe that's not the path, and how did you come to that decision yourself, and what are things that our audience can actually look for in their own lives to say, okay, maybe I'm not fully fulfilled, or maybe I do want to make a change, and so I'm gonna set up these spaces, um, to empower myself to really unveil my truth and go in a different direction.
I think for me, when I was uh, at the peak in business, I had everything. I was going on holiday to anywhere I want. I had the latest sports cars. I had so many things, but I felt deep down there was just something that was missing. I felt that my soul was calling for something else, for that connection. And I wasn't super happy. By working hard, my main aim when I was in business, well, I still am in business, but my main aim was I wanted to be able to support my family. And my father had a serious accident, and also, I was told from a young age by my relatives. Oh, it's such a shame that you don't have any brothers to look after your parents. And there was just so many things like that as I was growing up. And I felt I really need to do business to look after them. But afterwards, when I had all of that and I was able to take care of them, it's like, well, what's next? You know, where am I going with all of this? What is really important to me? And by tuning into myself, I felt that my soul was calling for something much bigger than this. There was a bigger plan for me. And I learned so much from all the different businesses and the people I'd met and the experiences and relationships that I had, that I thought I'm actually in a position to help others now. And there were people that approached me all the time and said, "Oh, you're so lucky. I wouldn't be able to do something like this." And I got really frustrated by that comment because, firstly, you know, it wasn't just down to luck, and I worked very hard. And secondly, anyone can do it. I really feel that anyone can make this change in their life. And really, it was at that point that I thought, okay, I'm going to help mentor people. And it was mainly women who were coming to me who were in a situation where they felt that they wanted to make life change, but they were stuck. They had family or they had commitments and they couldn't make change. And I was able to mentor them and teach them how to actually create that change in their life and create a different future and be able to sustain themselves and create passive income and be able to enjoy all the things that they wanted to do and to be able to create more time in their lives and more joy. So yeah, I think that was really powerful because to be helping other people felt more congruent to what my soul wanted to do. And yeah, I think that's one of the most important things, to be able to follow your soul's path.
Yeah, so beautiful, so beautiful. Nikita, is there anything else you want to share on this topic just before we wrap up?
Um, I think also, I find that when I was mentoring people, I felt that everyone always felt there was a lack of time. I don't have time to do this. I'm so
Mm-hmm.
busy. Like, you know, that they can't make those changes due to that. And I felt that let's examine where your time is going, because there's little baby steps that you can do to help incorporate things into your current schedule. For example, you can listen to podcasts, you can learn about different things, you can read audio books, you can also you might find that when you're analyzing your schedule, hold on a minute, I get home from work and then like I lose an hour, I don't know what I'm doing. You might get home and you switch on the TV, or you might go onto social media, and all of a sudden it's like an hour has gone by. But what could you do in that hour? There might be
Mm-hmm.
something that you want to learn that you haven't had a chance to do. And you could just say, okay, from now on, the first thing I'm going to do when I get home is I'm going to listen to this audio, or I want to learn Spanish, so I'm going to do this every day for a week. And then suddenly those little baby steps are going to make sure that you learn a lot within a short amount of time, and you haven't got downtime on things like TV and social media. And it's very
Mm-hmm.
quick and easy to do. Or you might be on a commute to work and you have an hour every day, but within that hour, imagine how much you could learn by listening to the right information. So I think that's another really important thing, to make use of all the time that you have in order to reach your goals. But one of the traps that people might find themselves in is they might say, oh, I have 10 things that I want to do. I found that I've meditated, and these are the 10 things I'm really excited about. And they try and do everything at once. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that's also a mistake, because you need to remain focused. You can't try and do 10 things and then say, look, I tried it and it didn't work. You know, I had this grand plan. I tried it for 2 days and I'm no good at it. I'm going back to what I'm used to because it feels comfortable and it feels secure. And so,
Mm-hmm.
so So I would say just remain really focused, know exactly what you want, and then focus and then look at your time management and focus your time every day to achieve chipping away at that hobby or that skill that you want to learn. I think that's a really powerful and easy thing that you can incorporate from now.
Mm. Yeah, I love that. I love that you said analyze your schedule because I think most people just default to, oh, I'm too busy, right? But how present are you really with what you're doing, and if every minute of every day is accounted for, that's one thing. But if it's not, and you're distracted on with TV and social media, like you said, then those are the opportunities in your schedule to to really start to make the changes that you want in your life. So I'm really happy that you pointed that out.
Yeah, I think
Last question.
sorry.
Oh,
I think the biggest
sorry.
distraction these days, and I mean everyone knows it as well, is their phone and social media and TV, and it's the biggest distraction. And you know it's a distraction because you try and lock that phone away in a cupboard for the day, and you will find yourself so agitated, wanting to go and pick up your phone and not being able to be present with yourself. And that's when you
Mhm.
know that, okay, I'm using the social media and the phone too much, to do that exercise and
Yeah,
think, I don't know what else to do with myself because I'm so used to like grabbing my phone and checking everything on there. But there was a time when people didn't have phones once.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So I want to ask just one more question. I've been asking all of the speakers.
Mhm.
So how or what does peak performance look like or mean to you?
Performance begins by you knowing yourself, um, because you can't reach peak performance without having done that exercise first. And it could be something simple like, I know I'm not a morning person. I just cannot function in the mornings. And you could easily know what you're good at and what you're not good at, and then tailor something towards towards that goal. And that's how you're able to just, you don't even have to try to reach peak performance. You're just making those little steps and things will just synchronize and move into place because you know yourself so well.
Mm, I love that. Know thyself on the way to peak performance. Nikki, so beautiful
Exactly.
to have you here. So grateful for you sharing your wisdom and your time and your energy. How can people connect with you? What are you up to in the world?
Um, unfortunately, social media. I don't have a website, but I am on social media. Um, I'm not really advertising my services at the moment. I'm just doing local events for now.
Okay, beautiful. And social media being Instagram,
Instagram, yeah.
just your name.
So it's just my name, Nikit 4.love.
Beautiful, beautiful. Nikita, thank you so much for your time, and so grateful to have you here. It's always an honor to be able to share your energy and your wisdom, and to be able to share with our audience today. So thank you so much.
Thank you. It's lovely to see you. Thank you so much.